Hello and welcome to this special edition coming your way from Nile TV International regarding the latest developments in the region and the war between the United States and Iran, and the latest updates released by the American President Donald Trump for today. And to be shedding more light on those statements and those updates, I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Nabil Mikhael, the Professor of Political Science. Dr. Nabil, can you hear me?
Thank you. I can hear you very well, and thank you for the interview, and I'm ready to answer the question.
Anytime. First of all, the first question is about the statements of the U.S. President Donald Trump that he would not be going on and proceeding with the military operations and the strikes against Iran on Tuesday, according to phone calls or after phone calls were conducted by the leaders of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, the GCC leaders. They contacted the U.S. President and convinced him not to be proceeding with those military operations. How would you see those statements, especially that you are residing in the United States of America, more specifically in Washington?
You are absolutely right. We know now that the president, quote unquote, is holding off an imminent military plan that he was trying to execute tomorrow, Tuesday, the 19th of May, citing basically many requests from the Arab Gulf countries like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and also, I should say, Pakistan, because Pakistan is the host of the negotiations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States. What Trump said, he described the negotiations as quote-unquote serious. He also gave us a little bit of details when he posted on his Truth Social post that he was prepared to go forward with a full and large-scale assault, and this could happen in a moment's notice if a deal is not negotiated or reached.
Yes.
But it's so confusing, not just for experts, for everyone, because somehow you get an impression of optimism that the negotiations are serious. But what is acceptable for the U.S. and its allies is still elusive. In addition, I believe also that when Trump held yesterday on a weekend a National Security Council meeting, that was a war council. So he's just a few inches away from a war decision. So it's confusing. No nuclear weapons for Iran. That's what he got from the Chinese, actually. So, I mean, tomorrow will be a summit in Beijing between Putin and Xi.
Yes.
So I hope that the two giants can bolster the approach for peace and convince Trump to delay any attack on Iran. And also I hope that the Iranians are smart enough to avoid a serious war against their nation, because they will lose big.
And speaking of the Chinese leader Xi Jinping, because in the past few days we have seen a meeting in Beijing between the U.S. President Donald Trump and the Chinese president. Do you think that there was some sort of mediation or convincing by the Chinese side, by the Chinese president, for the American president not to be proceeding with the military operations and the war against Iran?
This is possible, but also you have to realize that Trump emerged victorious from his diplomacy with the Chinese. The Chinese actually gave up many concessions. For one, they condemned the closure and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Second, they did not promise any immediate help to the Iranians in case of an attack against their nation. There are reports published in the American media that a few or several Chinese corporations are sending weapons, drones, other commodities to the Iranians. But the outcome of the summit tells a different story, because basically you are seeing that China is buying a lot of American products. They do not want to see a nuclear Iran. They are calling for an immediate end to the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. I'm not seeing actually any much help coming from the Chinese towards the Iranians. So the Iranians really have to make some concessions because we have seen the resumption of this cycle numerous times. It is the same old movie that we have been watching for a long time. A threat use force, a retreat not use force, negotiations resume, negotiations collapse, a military campaign is promised, it is holding off at the last second. So we hope that really Iran's latest proposal that we're still expecting will really be convincing to Trump to end any military or war option.
Yes, and speaking about this proposal, because we do know that the negotiations have been going back and forth and mediated by Pakistan, but maybe an hour ago we have seen the statement of the American president and answering several questions about Iran, that the deal was very close and this time it was different. How do you think things have changed in terms of this proposal and the acceptance by both sides for it?
I mean, like I say, I think Pakistan plays a role because a month ago, also Trump held off an attack against Iran because of the country of Pakistan. I believe America knows that there are divisions within Tehran's government because today the statement by the president of Iran described a very austere situation inside that country. He said that Iran does not have anything. Yeah, there are some domestic problems emanating from the war in the Gulf for the American economy, but it is much worse for the Iranians than the Americans. And in fact, Trump actually is winning big. No one is paying attention to the fact that his allies, MAGA supporters, are winning big in the Republican Party primary in Louisiana, in Kentucky, in Indiana. So Trump could be low in the polls, but he is discussing forward really serious plans against Iran, and the American people will be behind him because Iran does not have a good reputation inside the U.S. It is the country that humiliated America when he took the hostages back in the Carter administration.
In the 1970s.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, each side will think that he won the war, but the real war has not happened yet. I hope that Israel will not join any American attack because that can just be a geopolitical catastrophe.
Yes.
So everyone actually has grown frustrated. The peace is not there. The negotiations are always halted. So it's a war that is entering a third month, but I mean, there is no end in sight so far.
If the real war has not happened yet, in your opinion, when and how it would happen?
If there is a massive and a large-scale American attack against critical Iranian strategic assets, it is that simple, it is that big. But always Trump actually is requested to hold off more attacks. So I think there will be a point whereby Trump said, this is just a red line. I'm not going to retreat anymore. So actually, it's good that he's retreating because that spares let's say, spares many lives, or let's say, does not really to lead to death. But what is that is satisfactory quality for an Iranian peace proposal is not really captured by the Americans. I'm glad that the Arab Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates are into the fray now, exercising a great deal of diplomatic effort, despite the fact that Iran hit them, and they were so kind and so gracious and so honorable not to reply. But I just feel that things are becoming more serious.
Yes, Dr. Nabil, as you mentioned, the GCC countries, they have not replied against the Iranian attacks against them for the past few months. In fact, they have asked the American president today not to be proceeding with the military operations once again on Tuesday. How would you explain this situation by the GCC countries, and more specifically the United Arab Emirates and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which was hit yesterday?
They are realists. They are assessing the geopolitical implications of a strike. They do not want Iran to be destroyed. They also have in mind the oil prices. They just feel that the clock is ticking for Iran. Strategy is like, say, a strategic mistake. They're afraid of any miscalculations on the part of the U.S., on the part of the Trump administration. They feel also that Iran may declare soon no-nuclear weapons option. That will be a great development. They are still waiting the outcome of the Putin-Che summit tomorrow. They also embrace the sincere and the noble effort by Pakistan to establish a process, the Islamabad process, for negotiations between Iran and the U.S. Because even if Iran is left, that actually will give more legitimacy and more credibility to the Islamabad process. Because a collapsed Iran, or even an Iran that surrenders, will need an Arab and Islamic country like Pakistan to help it just resurrect a little bit some of its international standing. I think President Trump values the Middle East allies request, but what will come next is totally unknown. It's a case of a strategic vagueness at its maximum.
Hopefully we'll be having peace and security and stability in the days to come. Dr. Nabil Mikhael, the professor of political science from Washington, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International. And this brings us to the end of this special edition. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.